Hi, this is Paige. Welcome back to Living with What Remains. So this week we're talking about the emotional discipline of being an executor. When someone passes away, most people imagine grief as something quiet, something that happens slowly. But when you're the executor, grief rarely arrives that way. Instead, it appears in small moments between responsibilities. In the early weeks after my father passed, there was always something that needed attention. Mail arriving, accounts to review, documents to locate, decisions that couldn't wait. Before heading to his house some mornings, I would pause, not because everything was calm, but because I needed a moment to prepare myself emotionally for the day ahead. It almost felt like meditation, except instead of quieting my thoughts, it was allowing myself to feel the grief before stepping into the responsibilities waiting for me. Because once the day began, the role of executor required movement. There were days I would cry, allow the emotion to surface, and then gently bring myself back to the work in front of me. Not because the grief had passed, but because the responsibility had not. The house still needed attention. The finances still needed to be understood. The trust still required fairness and careful oversight. Eventually, I realized something about being an executor that very few people talk about. It requires emotional discipline. Not suppressing grief, but learning how to carry it while continuing the work that had been entrusted to you. Grief doesn't stop the paperwork, and the paperwork doesn't stop the grief. They exist side by side. And slowly, over time, something else begins to appear. A quiet steadiness. Not because the responsibility disappears, but because you begin to understand what the role truly asks of you, and you rise to meet it.